starter at the very beginning and with the bright future. We're based just across the street in the High Spring Plug and Play incubator program. And yeah, we're looking for someone who wants to join for long-term vision. Also, if you're interested in building Bitcoin-related packages for Meteor, open source now, we would very much like to talk to you, maybe to join forces there and synergy effects. And of course, if you're a Bitcoiner, we also want you as a customer, as a user. So just go to our site and sign up for it. That's about covered. If you have any questions,
Aren't you concerned about security?
So we don't handle Bitcoin or private keys of users. So the worst thing that happens is spillage of metadata of the users. And to that degree, I'm not so much concerned about security, and also I think that the security model of Meteor is pretty neat to understand. So I don't know, you just restrict the database entries to the user, and then nobody else can access it. So as long as the Meteor itself is secure, I think it's very difficult to make a mistake in like providing data to the wrong user or so, or being attacked. Yeah, so I'm like security-wise, I have these concerns. Yeah.
When do you plan to accept or integrate Dogecoin?
So it all depends on the APIs. If you want to write any NPM packages to support any altcoin. So if you have one ready, I'm happy to integrate. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yeah, one more question. How much of the, I think it's saw that the listing so when is that for working, like on top?
So this is one. And the way we kind of look at even when we get this, please do something. But this is not like maybe the actual thing in the end, but of course this needs serious development. Yes, please.
How sensitive is it to the latency? Do you execute the trades or just like keep track of them?
No, we're keeping track of it. I'm working now on showing new Bitcoin transactions. So another thing you can do is you can add a wallet. I don't know, person's wallet. And then you add the address, right? This one, I say like this one. And then after a short time, it shows up like here. You see the balance on the address, and then the transfers to. You should be able to see. Yeah, you should be able to see the Bitcoin transfer down here. Like it's from my number to the person's wallet for a certain fraction. So we're working on that right now. But what I want to do is like I want to show like whenever you send some Bitcoins on this address, these will show up in the database immediately. So for that, I'm currently integrated with the WebSocket, so I'll listen to chain.com. They're giving me all the transactions, and then I just mention them for the address of the data or not. This is something, for example, we kind of pull the data as soon as possible in our database. We don't provide training tools yet. The problem is that only certain, or maybe even like just very small fraction of exchanges gives you a WebSocket or live feed for the user data. So they show you all the trades, but not personal data. So you need to like do polling and stuff. And I personally don't really believe in polling anymore. So yeah, we'll see about it, but we're not providing a training model. So we'll just poll this data like an hour or so every hour and try to get the used data, which is mostly relevant for tax reporting, and so it's once in use. Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you very much, Lynn. And now I want to invite on the stage to Philip. Or Mark and Philip, both of you, okay. From the bakery aisle, they have made an app, about the Meteor Day, and I think they are going to show us how it looks and works, and maybe even the code. Hopefully.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mark. Can everybody hear me? So yeah, say no. Hi, everybody can hear me. So we work for a company called Meteor. It's a small development and design agency. We mostly do web and iOS apps. A few months ago, we started playing with Meteor after a client forced us into it, but it's been a pretty good experience so far. Very nice. Yeah, and so a few weeks ago, we started experimenting a bit with Meteor's Cordova integration. We actually wanted to build a little plugin, a little check-in system for ourselves. And as the Meteor Day was coming up, we took a few hours last weekend, beginning of the week, to like kind of skin it and add a few little features. So yeah, the idea is to let you check in through your phone. So a lot of people have asked us why we can actually check in through the web app, because the idea was to actually experience, to enjoy the iOS app, and it shows where Meteor developers are around the world, and you'll see like little particles flying back to San Francisco whenever somebody checks in. You also see like the dots kind of growing as more and more people check in for the application. So if you want Berlin to become brighter, you can just check in from the app. So it's Meteor Day check-in, Android Play Store or App Store. iOS. Are we good?
Oh my God. It's fine. It's not the other.
I guess it's a bit too responsive.
Don't be responsive.
Yeah, I guess what's happening is that we. So yeah, it was our first experience building like a Cordova app. So overall, it's pretty simple. I guess the hardest part is more like submitting it to the App Store, especially if you guys have dealt with the iOS App Store. It's quite a process. Here we are. Refresh. So do you want to talk?
Yeah. Thanks for bearing with me using Mac. So yeah, you can actually participate in this. It's an App Store and Google Play. You can just go to meteorday.meteor.com and pick it up. So yeah, the idea is that we just wanted to build like a check-in system. This is all open source, by the way, so we'll just post the link to the repository. It's an open source check-in system, kind of like an open source Foursquare. People can just check in and post pictures and text, and obviously geolocate you and visualize it on the left. So what you can see is people checking in from all over the world, since it's Meteor Day. So when the thing is flying, basically somebody's checking in, and it flies to San Francisco to the Meteor's office. So yeah, it's a lot of people are very excited about Cordova integration with Meteor, and we haven't really spoken about this, but this is a massive deal for a lot of people, including us, because like nobody wants to deal with like Apple's bullshit and wait for weeks to like submit stuff and then be like, please approve it because I changed 1 pixel in my app. And then these guys kind of fixed it. So wanted to give it a shot and see how it works. So it works pretty well. We built a very simple app, but it's functional, and 264 people used it today. So it kind of works. There's an issue with older Androids, which has nothing to do with Meteor, but it has to do with Java 6 versus Java 7. Apparently, when you sign an APK, it's not super happy on old ones. So if you have an old Android, apologies, you can use my iPhone to test it. Yeah, and below also we do like some kind of background processing on the server where we can geolocate stuff. I'm trying to understand, reverse geolocate, where we're trying to understand where you are. So we like find the name of the city, country, and all that stuff. And so we have a little like Olympic Games for geeks going on in the back. So that's it. And we'll post the source code. It's actually online already. It's in our repository on GitHub. Cool. Yeah, and if you have questions and want to like chat more about our Cordova experience, you can just talk to us. And yeah, just if you guys want to contribute. Oh yeah, so basically we kind of want to do this as white label a little bit. So there's this thing called Waldo, which is kind of like this, but without fancy skins and all. And it's open source as well. And we kind of want to work on it. So if there are like people excited about mobile JavaScript that runs everywhere, yeah, let's build something cool. So yeah, thank you. If you have questions right now, we can maybe do a few. Yeah, thanks. Yes.
So I would like to know how is that done, whether you retrieve the checking, how you translate it to the content.
The question is how the map is done, how we do geolocation, and how we translate it. So the map is rendered in D3, and it pulls data through from Meteor in a reactive fashion, which basically means we don't do anything. We just sit there and wait. Which is a very easy way of writing web applications. And this is one of the advantages of Meteor. No, but it's true, right? I mean, because like nobody wants to like do polling, for example, right? But we're allowed to swear here, remember? No. Yeah, fuck that shit. Fuck polling, man. I mean, I feel you. I wanted to show you something else because a lot of people ask about performance. And here's if you wanna, I don't know. Sorry, did I answer your question, kind of?
Yeah.
So there's D3, and then we have coordinates, and then you just map projection on the map, basically say what it is. And that's yeah, I mean, we do a few things. We get coordinates from your browser, but then we also kind of try to understand what state you're in, which is kind of like a bigger scope, you know. So for the Geek Olympic Games, that's all you know, it's all in the background. But then a specific check-in here comes from the browser, which is yeah, or actual accelerometer from your phone, because it's done by Cordova. Sorry, like so what I wanted to tell you is yeah, Cardira is how we basically track performance on your things and just kind of try to understand what's going on with the app. Because there are a few notions that are not necessarily super common to other frameworks that you've used before. So this is Cardira for what you just seen. So we have 117 people who are actually connected to this right now. And as you can see, we're 2% on CPU and 200 megs on RAM. This runs off Galaxy basically, so just Meteor's free hosting. What I noticed is, yes, sir.
So Galaxy is released already?
I mean, it's not like released, but like if you look at what's happening in the background, like there's the Galaxy all over the place. So yeah, it's released. Kind of. I mean, it's not like they're not charging money for it because they're probably not ready. But this is.
You deploy the normal Meteor deploy and you say, oh,
yeah. So this is like because I mean, we're not super organized about that. So we're like, oh, we're just gonna push it, and then we're like looking at these stats, and we're like, oh, it's gonna melt, and it's gonna like. A browser will catch fire and everything. That didn't happen. So basically, like around 60 concurrent connections, we had CPU usage of like 80% or like 90%, and then something happened, which I think they just like added extra processing power to our instance. and CPU dropped to like 2%, and it's been 2% since 60 users up until now. So Meteor is the way to understand what's going on with the app base, and that's how we track performance as well. And it's free for like one person, and then if you want to have a team and all, they're going to start charging you money, but it's fairly affordable. Thank you very much, and please ask us more questions.
Why is it only mobile? Why not make it work in a browser?
Why is it only mobile? Why doesn't it work in a browser? This was supposed to be a weekend project, and it already got out of hand, so we decided to keep it that way. No particular reasons, honestly, but so the general rule of thumb that we're going to use with this is like keep stuff really simple, because this is our first like Cordova project and everything. So we didn't really know what to do. Just basically move as few things around as possible. And this is why we didn't want to like add extra stuff on top. Yes.
A little while ago, I looked into mobile video. And at that point, when you first started, you have to utilize the data just to make it work. I think. Is that still the case?
The question is about the penalty on the initial load when you download a lot of stuff. Like the person was referring to 500 kilobytes. You download whatever it is that you compile with JavaScript. So for our particular app, we don't have such big numbers, but obviously it's a concern. The way you mitigate that is by basically kind of reducing the time, like the perceived time, I guess. If you cannot just compress stuff more, just throw stuff away. And you do so with like loading screens and whatnot. There's a kind of core door preloaders that you can put in place. I've seen some people using some, like it's called Fusion or something like that, where they load a really lightweight template first, which just says like, please wait. And then they're actually loading the app in the background. So yeah, I'd probably start with that, and then just get rid of all the extra JavaScript. Yeah. So yeah, get rid of all the extra JavaScript, get rid of all the extra CSS, and then yeah, we put all the assets on S3, all the images and stuff, because it was trying to download all of them at the first time, like when you load, and obviously that's not necessary in our case. So we kind of mitigated that way. But yeah, it's just it's on a case per case basis here. Thank you.
Okay, guys, now the stage is open. Is there anybody that wants to present or demo something? Come on, don't be afraid. There is still more free beer in the bar if you need some energy. Okay.
If you're not completely bored already, or like tired actually, like present the project, put that into my previous company. Okay, so that's basically just screenshots. The reason is the company is insolvent and it's offline, and the whole backend is offline, the whole app is offline. But I worked 1.5 years on it, and it was using Meteor, but the time being, we were not clear how it would scale. So the decision was made that we use a LAMP stack, so MySQL and PHP, as an API to connect to. So what I did is I built the whole application in Meteor, but basically not using any server-side code. So not connecting to the Meteor server using publication subscription, but basically build my own API controller to connect to our own API and pull things when I want to. It was then using only the templating engine called Blaze and the mini Mongo. So basically what I did is I pulled data from our API, I put it into mini Mongo, which is like a fake MongoDB in the memory, and then I could represent the data on the screen. This worked actually pretty well. We were kind of live, but under the hood. And so we actually built a whole app. What it was a second screen app. So it was meant for you were watching TV, and while you're watching TV, you have a whole TV guide ready with all the channels you can arrange and select and filter and whatever. And then you could select shows. You could see all the shows. You could even browse through movies. And once you have the show where there's a live event going on, with some more like daily live events for some shows. Example, the Fußball WM, we broadcast live events. What you could do is you could join these live events and you could vote live. While there was a moderated screen, so people were like moderators from our side were pushing cards and asking questions, and you could actually vote the card itself. You could watch videos or you could vote on things directly, and then it would live update. So this was not using Meteor backend, so we had to do push and pull, which was quite some crazy thing, because you push and pull like 5 times to 5 different endpoints, asking for 5 different data, and your browser runs basically on 20% CPU, just doing that push and pull every 2 seconds. Thanks God we have WebSockets today, which actually allows you to do nothing until there's actually data coming in. So it worked well, and it worked pretty well for the front end. The only thing at the time being, and still you have to do that, you had to separate the front end part from the back end yourself. So what you do is you package Meteor, you run the Meteor, and then through a script, you copy only the front end part out, rename it to index.html, and you actually have just the website, complete JavaScript application website running, and you could connect it to any API you want. I'm open a discussion on Google Core, asking for a browser platform so that actually it's like in core that you can build for just the client, and I hope they will do that. I really hope to, because this will open up not only that you can use like this for like connecting to any other API, but you also could build a desktop application where you wrap it into some kind of tied SDK container or whatever. So I think it will benefit a lot of people, and will probably also give a lot of people which are right now using Angular the chance to actually take Meteor and use it for their project. Because right now I think a lot of the concerns is that people think, okay, I'm tied to the Meteor server, I don't know how this scales, and I don't want to enclose myself into the system and so on. And I think this could actually be solved by people, by them giving this client-only platform mode. Yeah, that's it. We built even comments and everything. It worked pretty well until Springer decided not to fund us anymore. But it's okay. That's experience. Okay, that's it.
Okay, who is next? Only 5 minutes. I see Chris at the back. You wanted to present something, come on.
I have more things. I'm not quite ready to
Oh, I'm really bad at that. But maybe somebody else wants to come on stage and present something? Many people raise their hands at the beginning. Yes, yes, we use Meteor. Thank you guys. I'm sure you made something.
I'm going to pick on you. I need 8 people to participate in this hack. Who's going to donate themselves?
You need 8 people. But do they need to be here? Okay.
But it could be across, we want it to be streaming or something, so like we set up.
But it's a good computer, right?
Yeah, it would work. Or with our.
Okay, if nobody wants to present anything, then I will play some music or some videos, maybe.
Are you ready?
You guys want to present something else?
We can,
Come on.
Hey, is your translation site now, Meteor as well?
Yeah, our translation site is running with Meteor. And you can go and check. It has been in production for 1.5 years now, running very nicely. In the last 2 weeks, we made a huge marathon to have it ready for Meteor 1. And you can just go to open your browser and go to tran.sl, and then you can see another Berlin startup in production.
Hello again. Well, since there's no volunteers, I'm just going to show you something else we built for fun. It's called Meteor spawning, and basically what it is it's a way to discover projects that run on Meteor. It's a Chrome plugin that you can install in your browser, and then every time basically you stumble upon a site that runs Meteor, it kind of has a little like animation going on and stuff like that. Unfortunately, like we've basically spotted every single website out there, so I can't show you like what it looks like in terms of unless you know like some obscure website that we can look at. But the interesting kind of part about this is developing a Chrome plugin that integrates with Meteor, right? Because Meteor has got this like whole kind of crazy way of dealing with data and everything. It's not RESTful, it's something else. And so what we kind of explored with Meteor spawning is how you can leverage DDP, which is distributed data protocol that Meteor runs into, which is essentially it's how you do RPC with Meteor. And so a Chrome plugin basically just does that, and so it figures out when a site runs Meteor by inspecting JavaScript on the page.
which one?
It's the first one. Okay, just discovered it.
It has been discovered. Yeah.
By me.
Did you see something happening?
Yeah, there was a meteor like
Yeah.
screen, and then like I can play this.
There you go. I couldn't have explained this better. So that's exactly what it looks like. So it's like a massive meteor just shooting through the screen, and then like it's pretty sick. I mean, we spent a lot of time fixing that animation. Anyways, it's.
Or go to the end of maybe Meteor, you'll probably find a new one.
Okay. So made with Meteor is what people used to use before Meteor spawning. I'll show you the difference. You had to actually submit an app here. Maybe this, guys. No. Unless my like thing is not activated. But Meteor spawning is here. Strap's been spotted. These guys. Okay. Hasn't been used for a while, I think. Let's try this one. I mean, you have to just believe me, but it does stuff. It's open. It's open, sorry. There's no way I can spell it.
Lava.
Falafel.
Lava?
Lava.
Yeah, like volcano lava.
Okay, yeah.
Then,
Lava.
more dark of the olive and city.
Hold this. Like this. Bam. That's all right. So, sorry? So we did focus on making this as addictive as possible, as you can see. So yeah, some people took it extremely personally, like this dude discovered 200 sites in one night, I kid you not. And we came back and we're I knew we have to like focus on security because he totally just laid the whole thing. And I went through the list and he actually went to all the sites and clicked on them, which tells you something about human nature. But, and the guy who's #1 right now, so he started kind of like a while ago and he was like, I hope one day I'll be #1, and he kind of goes to the site every day and just clicks on all the links. Yeah, and he discovered, yeah, he's seen every single website built by Meteor. So anyways, this thing is open source as well. The ribbon is missing, but it is open source. I'll post the link to it if you guys want to take a look. And yeah, that's it. And we have more apps to show. It's getting even more dangerous now. You can use the Wi-Fi. Let's see if this works. Great. So hi, I'm Chris. You may recognize me from other research to London. I wish to present to you a tiny little hack, because sometimes we don't want to build things for profit or to exit, or just, we want to just play around and see what we can do. So who here would consider themselves a musician? There's at least 1, 2, 3. Yeah, come on. We've all tried. Okay, I'm one of those guys that try to completely fail, then end up doing nice things with screens instead. So it's still got a happy ending. But I often still play around with tools to try and connect things up to the web and try and see how I could use music stuff in a creative way. Oh, some people have already joined in. Yeah, so you can help. So if we can get 8 people here, if you go to the URL, which is, let me make a bigger version. You need sound? I'm put the URL on the screen for those who can't see it. So it's able to that way to go. And you should. When you connect it, you can access the part and create and start it starts like when you press the button, everyone triggers it off, so stop your hearts. It's on the
kind of sound like connected to one of the channels?
Yeah, I'm sure you will when we start.
Okay. So let me connect up. Because actually, I think I'm going to record this, so I'll explain it a little bit more. So essentially, this is not just. There seems to be a small problem. Someone's connected in. I don't know why. But this is not just a web app that's on the internet. So it's essentially it routes through from the internet down to my local machine. And what you're actually doing here is sending mini data from the DVP streaming. So we've got a live app that's on the web, and you've got your client that then sends data down to my desktop, and then I've got a node process that converts that to MIDI, and then it controls Ableton Live. So why not? Because you can do this with Meteor. You have lots of little apps that connect together. So why don't we just have a little live chat? We can get some people in, start some showcase. And you'll see in the background that it's actually coming in, and you're playing and triggering Ableton Live. And then I'm going to record this. So we've only got 5 people. If anyone else can connect in, we can have some extra parts. Okay, let's play. Who's on the drums? Timo. Where's Timo? There he is. Timo, please stand up. Round of applause for Timo. He's got the drums. Okay, drums down. Right, we've got to introduce a very special part. I can turn them off here if you're not going to play ball. But then we have this micro bit. They're going very catchy. You're just being rickrolled. How would you bring your drums and sax in? Thanks for your time. If you want to know more about how that's done, you can ask me some questions. But yeah, I don't know. It seems to be quite fun. If you like it. Yeah.
So you build a special client for the sound software?
In the back end?
Yeah. Or is it a Meteor client or is it a standalone application?
No, so the way it works, I will show you. It's got 2 applications. So there's one Meteor app, which is, can you see the screen? So I've got one main Meteor app which runs the whole visualization and does all the synchronization and does all the player data. And then I've got a second Meteor app that's on my local machine. And the Meteor app on my local machine, all that does is subscribe via DDP. So is everyone familiar with DDP? Or am I just throwing acronyms around now? So Meteor produced this thing called the distributed data protocol. That is essentially a standardized way of sending information through WebSockets. And it's the way Meteor apps can communicate with other Meteor applications or other services. So the best way to think about it is instead of you having to build one monolithic application for your services, you can create and segment all your applications to do different things. So I've got the main one that's on the cloud, and I've got a tiny one that's on the local thing. And all it does is listen to events. So as something changes on the main one, it then reacts to it locally. So the main one on the web doesn't actually know anything about MIDI, it doesn't know what you're doing, but the local one says, oh, this thing has changed here, I need to play this instrument, and then it's turn it on or off. So all that data, if I can go back up here, should see some of these, I think I've cleared it. Yeah. So you can see these are some of the control changes that come through. So you get a change. This person started playing this particular instrument at this time, and then the app here translates it into MIDI, and then that connects via Node. So I'm using an NPM package that uses MIDI in the background, and then you can connect in. Yeah, and I'm actually looking to extend this a little bit further. So I built a whole new version that's not quite ready, that we won another hack day for recently, that actually allows you to do XY control and do all sorts of different effects, and it uses web audio. So hopefully I'll be able to release this without being able to embed in the future. So yeah, I'll post you my details. I'm at CWare on Twitter. Follow that, and I'll send it to you. Any questions?
Okay, this was very cool, and it was music, so we can continue with the music because we have another startup in Berlin. The bits about music. Ahmed is going to present Floki, which is a website where you can learn how to play the piano.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Ahmed. This is Jody.
Hi everybody, I'm Jody.
And we will get serious now. Also about music. And we deal about music education. And we are building Floki. And we present ourselves as the easiest way to learn piano. And our whole application is built with Meteor. And we will just demo the application now because this is not prepared. So actually, what you can do with Floki is you can select a song like this one, The Godfather. You can listen to it. You will see the sheet music is completely synchronized with the video. So if you play around with the sheet music, it changes the video and so on. You can loop parts inside the sheet. You can say, okay, I want to listen only for this part at the beginning, or maybe learn it. Okay, my internet connection sucks. Wait a second. Nothing. All right. There's my wireless. I should just try again. There it is. So this is okay, you could start learning with this, but we decided to build more something helpful that could help you while learning. And we developed a pitch detection that listens to you while you play through your microphone. And it will wait until you play the tones. So we will just show it up. And he's hopefully, no, wait. It's not listening. This microphone was crossed. There it is, now it listens. So. Okay. There's something not working. You know why? That's strange. Live demos never do it. This is very strange because this application is running in production and normally it should work. We'll try again. Okay, the microphone goes down. Yeah, I've been working with Loki since May this year. I think the guys have been working on it for about 1.5 years now. The app works normally. I'm not sure what's going on exactly, but
How many people are using the app? Or making any money?
we've currently got a bit over 6,000 users. And whether we're making money or not, yes, but we just started last week with the subscription service. It is a subscription service. You start off with a trial, but with the subscription, you get all of the features, you get all of the current and future songs. There are courses and exercises built in. Did I answer your question?
Any other question? Why Meteor for this one? Doesn't seem like why.
That's a question that Ahmed will probably better answer than I can. But from my part, I can say that Meteor gives us a lot of options with our data. For example, at the moment, when you learn a song, you can see which parts of the song have been learned in real time. You might have another window open with a dashboard saying, hey, you've learned this part of the song, this part. And there are a lot of applications there you can imagine for music teachers and this kind of thing, observing the students. Different options there. In terms of why we started with Meteor, I think the development is a lot quicker than developing, for example, a native app to begin with. So rather than jumping straight in and developing an iOS app, for example, that's just restricted to that platform, we decided to go straight with the JavaScript everywhere approach. And actually our next step is to use the Cordova integration to bring out some native such apps.
Yep, something else to say. That's perfect description why we use Meteor. It's Meteor is maybe we could say the easiest way to develop. It's not only using JavaScript or using the techniques, using reactive stuff. It's like the whole environment that Meteor gives you is really perfect. Like I searched around and compared a lot of different systems. And for me, it's like, okay, you have some developers, and every developer could be easily an expert in JavaScript, and therefore he could do every task that you need in your company, like on the front end and the back end, everything. And we can also do iOS apps, and we can extend to other platforms only with using Meteor. And that's like the biggest benefit you can gain in the startup. You can you will get faster, you can develop faster, you can try out new features faster, you can develop like this whole dashboard that we did like with small amount of code, because everything is reactive, is connected to the templating system and so on. It's like, I don't know. I think that nearly every startup could benefit from using Meteor.
I also have the impression that the more you build with Meteor, the more that you can reuse as well. It's built in a way that you can very easily reuse your code and reuse your data in a way where you don't really have to think about it too much. Do you use Meteor right now, or are you looking?
I see the advantage, but this project didn't seem like perfect Meteor, but actually you're using fiber enough and you actually make an app of it.
Right.
And
You're right. Like this application uses a lot of JavaScript. Because we run in the browser, because we do this pitch detection, it was Chrome. I only needed to restart Chrome. I don't know why it's not working, but now it should work. And while we're talking, you see the microphone jumping, and he will demo it to play it on the piano. But sorry, I will just answer the question. Using Meteor for our application is not necessary, but it makes life easier. That's the only thing you can say. Yeah, so let's try it out. There's something wrong. Yeah, now you played right. So that's what we essentially built with Meteor. Yeah, as you see, this is running in the browser, not on the server side, because we need to save the latency time to do it in real time. And yeah, as you see, it's working, and now it's working a lot better because it's not continuing while we are talking. So you can try this at home. You can begin playing piano with nearly no sense of what you're doing, and it will wait for you until you hit the right tones. So what do we have more? We have like a dashboard where you will see like the songs you learned before. We have a course. Yeah, come on. Only technical problems today. Sorry for that. Okay, there it is. We started building courses in Floki, where you can learn like the whole beginning, how you play piano. Maybe introduce us.
I started playing piano when I was a kid and kind of stopped because I got sick of playing songs that I didn't want to play and playing exercises that I didn't understand what they were for. So why I was excited about Floki was that I could see very quickly that it's a way to start learning without necessarily needing to know why you're doing it. And this is designed for our complete beginners. We have some statistics that show about 60% of our users have never played piano before, 60% of our 6,000. So we're really building up the side of the app that caters to the absolute beginner. And here we've got just a basic course, what you're doing, what is this thing in front of you. And this is all in German now, but there's an English version as well. Yeah. I mean, another reason to use Meteor is Meteor is based on a whole bunch of open source packages, of course. One of those being Tracker, used to be called Deps. And Deps, or Tracker, just makes life a lot easier with reactive variables, reactive data. So I would suggest that Meteor gives anyone a big advantage there if you want to work with reactive data. For things like even just for course settings and this kind of thing, it's nice to be able to program things declaratively. Say, hey, when this happens, do this, rather than doing a whole chain of jQuery events or something to get something to happen in your UI. So that's another advantage of using Medium. Yes?
Quite complex UI. How do you deal with
which one are you referring to?
in general, pretty smooth. A panel of the advisors is pretty much
Yeah, so basically we're not doing more than using Blaze and the Meteor templating engine. But as you said, sometimes it begins to become slowly and things are not going fluently, right? Yeah, but maybe you have the problem that sometimes it's not going fluently, and we discovered that sometimes there are like small things that are triggering reflows inside the browser that causes these performance issues. But right now, if you take care of this, it's everything great. Did this answer your question? I'm not sure. But again, sorry? All right.
All right, great.
We need to reactivity just too much is refresh the page when actually that should be refreshed.
No, not really. So, I don't know. Yeah.
It's more about the recourse of your elements on the screen.
Not the
No. I mean yeah, it's about the browser, like redrawing all this kind of HTML. If you change your CSS and do it like in separate parts, it goes just fluently.
One example of the performance within the browser was on this screen. You can see that it's pretty smooth now, even if you've got, we've got a bit over 100 songs now. It's pretty smooth. And that wasn't the case until about a week ago. We found that there was a loading bar that had been blended out on the screen, faded out, and the loading bar had some, what's it called? Flexbox. It had some Flexbox elements in it, and that was causing the entire page to lag extremely. So just things like that we found, we just kind of had to look through and, hey, what could be causing the issue? But I mean, it's actually pretty solid with performance generally. It's not a limitation of Meteor that the performance has to be good or bad. It's this one.
Okay, this is solved. This is solved with HTML5 user media. So it works inside Chrome, Firefox, and not Safari. Not anymore. We had like a Flash fallback that works, but Flash does a lot of problems, and we decided to not support it. Therefore, we kicked out Flash, and we said we will not support Safari until they get user media. And I think it's a good decision because all the users that had problems were only coming from Flash-based browsers. Therefore, yeah, don't use Flash. Yeah, some other questions? Hello. Sure. That's not really technical. I'm not technical. Okay. The licensing problem is a good thing. Right now, we didn't solve it. That's how we do it in this business. You will start growing and growing and growing, and licensing people will contact you. That's what they did actually right now. But they will not contact you and say, hey, why are you using our music? They say, hey, you're successful, and okay, let's do something together. And that's how it will work, and we will get the licensing going. And it's like a gray area. We had also some lawyer helping us with this, and he told us that we can get along with like user content and stuff. You know, it will work. Yeah. Some other questions? Yeah, from the end.
Do you have mapping from the normal keyboard to the piano keyboard? So
sorry, I didn't hear
do
you.
you have mapping from your normal IBM style computer keyboard to the piano keyboard so that it's possible to play the piano on the computer keyboard?
Okay. Right now we don't have this. Oh, sorry, I repeat the question. He asked if there's a mapping from the computer keyboard to the musical keys, but we don't have this kind of support right now because we think that if someone really wants to learn music, he should buy an instrument. You will not start playing piano while playing on your keyboard. But you can start with GarageBand on your iPhone. Yeah. Therefore, we didn't have this, but we will maybe add MIDI support that you can connect your MIDI device into the browser and just play with this device with no microphone and stuff. Okay, so there was another question on this side. There it is.
Where do you guys use to like talk between different components in the system? Do you find anything that kind of works without using session or reactive variables?
To talk between different components. Did I get this right?
Yeah.
Okay. He asked me how we solve this kind of talking between different components, right?
That's what I asked.
Yeah. So actually, there's events, right? You can send events inside the browser and make some modules listen to these events. And basically, this is how we do it inside the pitch detection stuff. We throw like events. Okay, now listen to this tone, and some modules will react on this. That's how we do it right now, but I'm not quite sure if this is the right solution in Meteor. Maybe it could be a reactive solution to have like reactive variables flying around, but we are not using session. Like there's this use case where you always want to store some things and information inside the session variable, and we also have this a lot. And I wrote a package. It's open source on Atmosphere. It calls settings manager. The name is horrible, but what you can actually do is something we needed a lot. You will have like your own session variable, quite easy, right? But you can react on the states. Like if you say, okay, session set this value, normally you can't react on what's happening, right? With this package, you can react on it. You can say, okay, before setting this variable, do some checks, maybe change the value and then set it. And you can say, okay, after setting the value, now do something else. So you will have like this complete control on what's happening while setting reactive variables. You can check it out, but it's not quite finished yet. We are using it inside the application, so maybe it's helpful for you. I don't know.
You could imagine it maybe as iron router hooks for events, for reactive variables.
Exactly. Yeah. Some other questions? Nothing? So, thank you. If there's something else, you can just come to us after the talk.
Okay, we have time for one last speaker. Adrian?
Somebody else wants to speak? Okay.
Yeah, so actually, this is, wait one moment. Yeah. Okay. So actually, this is not about Meteor, but it's about a framework who could be a really good partner for Meteor. Okay, and who has heard about the framework called Famous? A few people, yeah. Yeah, this is the first thing I saw about Famous. It's a periodic table demo. Yeah, they showed this demo 2 years ago while they were developing this framework. And yeah, the idea is if you use this framework, you can create apps with JavaScript that are better than native apps. So this is the idea of the framework. And from my perspective, the challenge the framework solves is you can make animations with CSS3. You can do whatever you want, but the real problem is if you want to make animations that really follow your finger while you are using the app really follows exactly your finger.
It's quite difficult to solve this with non-CSS3 stuff. And yeah, Meteor famous wants to solve this problem. So yes, so this was always the basic demo of the app, and it's click too often. Yeah, it's basically an infinite scroll in 3D. And I saw many applications and many frameworks who were quite sluggish for a normal scroll view. And yeah, and famous is performant if you scroll in 3D. For example, if I do it like this, yeah, you can make an infinite scroll in 3D. Yeah. And actually, this is the side of famous right now, which is a little bit. Yeah. The cool thing is they have a university where you can just start directly typing the code of the where you can just directly start typing code with the framework. Here you would see the result, you see code, you see your introduction. You can go through all the different steps. Yeah, quite popular is the famous Angular integration. But to come back to Meteor, there are already people who are writing a book about the famous Meteor integration. Because the framework is really cool, but the whole thing which stopped me using the framework in production is it's a whole new concept writing applications. It's not normal HTML. It's pure JavaScript. You, as you see in this lesson before, you create an engine, and a surface is basically a div. And then you have your main context, and an engine context is like a. An engine context is like your DOM tree, and you're adding surfaces to your main context, which is the DOM tree. And I just want to tell you about the framework famous, and I don't want to go more into detail. I just want to show you a company who is building a new web app with famous right now. Okay. Yeah, the app is called Frame.io, and what you see first is, for me, it feels like 60 FPS, and it is 60 FPS all the time if you play the rules from the famous framework. And yeah, this is something you can build with famous, and the CEO of the company says, yeah, it's like Google owns the data, and famous owns you guys, but nobody owns the front end, and famous is trying to own the front end so that Google, Facebook, and whatever company will use famous to create the front end to make awesome apps like this. And yeah, if you use famous, you can build great apps. But right now, I'm a little bit pissed off of the framework because it's not delivering what the CEO said, and I hope they are going to deliver what they promised, but right now it's not the case. But they got $25 million in funding. So maybe with this cash, it will happen. So that's it. Yeah, any questions? So right now, the famous developer from Denmark, it's called Radix, he developed a package, and it's just a wrapper to require famous in your front end. And with this, you could write normal famous code as you want. And another developer said, okay, famous is too complex. We want to write famous code in the Meteor way. And he created little handlebars helpers where you, for example, create a famous scroll view with normal handlebars helpers, which starts with famous. And in this famous helper, you write scroll view. And then you put your normal Meteor each in it. And that's it. And then you have famous scroll view. But I'm hoping that the guy who writes the book will soon publish his book. Because it's quite complicated to also integrate all this reactive stuff from Meteor with things. Any more questions?
We ran out of time, so it was the end. It's time to adjourn the meetup. I hope that you guys have a great time. And you are invited to come to the next meetups. We have weekly meetups, which are typically 5 to 7 people, and we have lunch together. It's a very short meetup, and it's typically very technical, so it's a very good place if you want to come and learn a little bit even something code. And people that have been developing with Meteor for the last year or 2 years, and they can show you around. And we also have a monthly meetup that is typically around the 25th, it's every month on Quad. And you are also invited to come and show what to do. And also, well, if you want to learn, we can make a small hackathon, or we can all learn together how to do stuff in the game. That's all. Thank you very much for coming.